Good morning everyone. I'm Gayathri. I'm a dancer and a theatre artist. So, if you had told me a decade ago that I would be resigning my job as an engineering professor in the same university, TEDxAmrita, in the CSE department, to pursue my passion in theatre and dance, I would have most probably laughed. But life has its own ways of challenging us when we least expect it. The biggest challenge in life is not about pursuing your passion or shifting your career. What I have felt is it's about changing the narrative that we have about ourselves in our mind. So this is my story of how I left everything that I was told by the society was best for me to pursue something that is so uncertain, arts. So I'll give a brief idea about my background. I come from an artistic family. My grandfather, late Kalananiyan Krishnan Nair, and my grandmother, Kodunallur Rammaniyamma, they both were legendary theatre personalities in Kerala. But I never got to see those glorious days because my grandfather founded the theatre group called Kalananiyan. But even before I was born, he had passed away and that had come to an end. But I grew up seeing my grandmother, the wonderful Kodunallur Rammaniyamma, listening to her stories, and my house used to be always filled with artists, legendary musicians, directors, actors who used to come and talk to my grandmother. And with her simplicity, with her deep understanding about human emotions and relationships, her honesty, the benchmark of an artist was always so high inside my little mind. I also pursued studying dance and music from my childhood, but as most of the students, for me, dance, music, all these remained as a hobby, whereas academics took the first priority. Then everything went on smoothly until in 2003 when my father went to pursue his passion by restarting the theatre group Kalananiyan. Then all of a sudden our life took a sharp turn where my mother became the main breadwinner of the family and all of us collectively were supporting my father to pursue his dream. So my focus entirely became, no, I must not take any adventures or risk. I must always be supporting my mother. So I studied well. I cleared my entrance examination, completed BTech, and soon after completing BTech, I got married, completed my post-graduation, rejected all the industry offers and, chose to become a teacher with my husband, and we both were settled here in Amrita. So you can see from my choices that I used to take all the safe options. So everything was good. From outside, I had my stable career, a feminist husband, freedom, a fun-loving family, lot of loving students and friends. So I was perfectly fitting into the mold of the society on how success looks like. But deep within I was missing something. I did not feel fulfilled. Maybe because I was living someone else's version of success. And unfortunately, I didn't even have the courage or the conviction to even address that emotion of void. Instead, I devised a strategy to ignore that by making myself busy all the time by traveling or being surrounded by friends and students or going for movies. And so life was going that way when all of a sudden, my father's one production called as Hidden Bee, in that the main protagonist, the actress who was playing the role of the main protagonist, she got pregnant and suddenly she had to back off at the last moment. And my father was frantically searching for another actress, and at that time I thought, why can't I act? But to my surprise, most of the people were against that choice of mine. They were all worried. Oh, will that affect my stable family life? Will that affect my relationship with my husband? My mother-in-law even thought that I would forget my responsibility to become a mother if I become a theatre drama actress. But this time I don't know from where I got the courage. I stood on to my decision. I sticked on to it. And I took it up as a challenge. And within just few days, I studied that 2-hour long solo, almost like a solo play. And with just 3 days of rehearsal, I went on to stage to perform in front of thousands of audience. And while I was performing on stage, when I was seeing the eyes of the audience, I realized I was doing something right. Then again, I went back to college and I was doing shows whenever I got the opportunity to perform. I even performed back-to-back shows even while I was pregnant. But the whole experience gave me a conviction that someday I will resign or I will move into this direction of understanding art. And finally, in 2020, I resigned my job and I took up that choice. I didn't have any path in front of me. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to start off. But all I knew was I had to do that no matter what. The moment I resigned my job, I was flooded with so many questions, even from my own mind as well as from the society. At the age of 30, married with a daughter, what a fool are you to resign a safe job, to enter into something where you don't know what to start, what to do. And at that age, at the age of 30, how to start off as a beginner, what to do, how to move forward. The expectations of the society were overwhelming, but I understood that the biggest thing that I had to break was a stigma that I had within myself. But the moment I embarked on this journey to follow my heart's desire, something magical happened. I started to see that the universe was conspiring in my favor. I found myself getting connected to some of the greatest artists in India. I felt that the universe was rewarding me for my decision in following my truth. I got an opportunity to learn under Padma Vibhushan Guru Dr. Padma Subramanian, actor, dancer Sri Vineet Radhakrishnan, and I got to learn, I am learning Bharatanatyam under them, and Mohiniyattam I got to learn under Srimati Gopika Verma, Srimati Nirmala Panikar, and also I got an opportunity to learn the nuances of acting under the guidance and compassion and generosity of the Kudiyattam exponent Guru Venuji. And my experience and exposure to these great gurus actually changed my whole perspective about art. More than performances, beyond performances or beyond uploading videos or getting likes or shares, something profound started to unfold inside me. And I started to feel a deeper connect with myself, and art became more of a spiritual experience to me. And so this wide world is open in front of me, so I had to do something together with learning. So by exhausting every single penny of my savings, I started a new production, theatrical solo production called Nyan Udal Manasa, under an NGO. I took up the activities of an NGO called Kalanilayam Krishnan Nair Foundation and did this solo performance and performed it across various prestigious festivals across Kerala. And I even performed till my 8th month of pregnancy, my second pregnancy. During the COVID time, I conducted several Facebook online interview series with great personalities. I devised a module called as Theatre in Education and started to take classes to various school children across South India. Then I created a module called Art Integrated Learning, and by associating with Macmillan Publishers, conducted several workshops, still actively conducting several workshops to school teachers and thus connecting hundreds of teachers. So I didn't have any of these plans while I resigned my job. But I must say I worked tirelessly. I never said a no to any opportunities that came in front of me. And I spent a good amount of time in my learning, in making myself better in my area. With a small daughter, with my husband being away, with battling through my own uncertainties, with a very roller coaster second pregnancy and a rough vertigo that hit me for several months after my second delivery. Things were not that easy. But still, I never felt enough. I always had the energy to do more, to learn more, to dance more, to perform more, to teach more, to take up the responsibilities more and more. And something incredible really happened to me. That is, I started to redefine my definition of success. Once I took up this path of uncertainty, I learned something very quickly, that success is not about achieving something, is not about becoming a celebrity. It is more about accepting my vulnerabilities and accepting who I really am. It more than a destination, it became the small daily shifts I did towards being more compassionate, did towards being more genuine. It became more on how I showed up each day as a mother, as a wife, as a teacher, as a student, as a daughter, as a sister, as a friend, as a human being. So success became a quiet internal experience. When I take my grandmothers for a small trip, when I see their smile on their face, I know I'm successful. After hours of traveling and taking classes, and when I come back home and when I see my children, I know I'm successful. When I see my audience coming and hugging me after my performance, I know I'm successful. When I see my participants or students coming to me and sharing with me their vulnerabilities and their painful experiences with so much of confidence, I know that I'm successful. When I see a flower and when I can close my eyes and I can see and visualize the story of that flower, I know I'm successful. When I listen to the sound of the wind or the waves, and when I can find myself moving to the rhythm of that sound, I know I'm successful. So success really became something very internal for me. And I had this feeling that when we become successful, one part of our life we'll have to sacrifice. But for me, it was the opposite. The more I ventured into understanding art, the more and more I became present, the more and more I became conscious, the more and more I became connected to the people around me, and more importantly, towards myself. So today, I stand in front of you not as someone who has made it as a world's standards, but as someone who has found the peace of the quiet internal success by living a life aligned with my truth. To me, 1000% success is not in achieving something. It is about what I become along this path, along this journey of being more and more honest with myself and more honest with my art form. So if there is one thing that you can take from my story, it is this: that it is never too late to start something. It's never too late to listen to your inner calling. It's never too late to decide what you have to do in your life. And being a mother, being a woman is never a constraint. Everything will fall in place. Once you embark on your journey of truth, the universe has its own way of responding with generosity. And the whole world will open up in front of you with possibilities you never imagined. That I'm really sure. So for me, it was about the honesty and the truth that I had to show towards myself, my family, and my art form. For you, what is it? Think about it. Thank you.